Virtually everyone seems to want a prestige car, particularly one made by that blue-chip German trio, Mercedes, Audi and BMW. Nowhere is this more obvious than in the ballooning demand for compact executive cars. Let's face it, who wants to drive a Mondeo when they can have a BMW 3 Series, a Mercedes C-Class or an Audi A4? But which one's on top? Which is the most prestigious car out of this lot? To find out, last month we commissioned internet pollsters YouGov to do a survey. We showed over 2,000 adults across Britain some compact executive cars and asked them to choose the one they thought was most prestigious. Our selection of contenders obviously included the A4, the C-Class and the 3 Series. We also added a British prestige competitor, the relatively slow-selling Jaguar X-Type, and the IS200 from Japanese prestige brand Lexus. Plus, to complete the set, a volume car with prestige pretensions, the Volkswagen Passat, the new model of which goes on sale next month. So here are the results, in reverse order. At number 6, it's obvious that Volkswagen still have a lot of social climbing to do. Only 1% of people voted for the Passat, putting it firmly in last place. A bigger surprise is what's 5th. It's the Audi A4. Just 4% of the people in our survey voted it as the most prestigious. Could that be because it's too popular for its own good? According to the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders' latest figures, it's the best-selling car out of our 6. I think the Audi is just too plain to be posh. It's not a case of look at me, more a case of don't look at me. In 4th place, it's the Lexus. A relative newcomer in the prestige car market, there's always the danger that people you want to impress simply won't know what a Lexus is. But beating the A4 isn't a bad result. The IS200 got more than twice as many votes as the Audi, with 9% of people choosing it as their most prestigious car. More than any other car, whether you liked it or not, depended on how old you were. Among the over 50s, it got a 12% score, but just 5% with the under 30s. And in 3rd place, the 3 Series BMW, but only just, narrowly beating the Lexus with a 10% score. It was slightly more popular with the under 30s and with the lower income groups in our survey, but not by much. Could this disappointing result reflect recent BMW styling? Or could it be that these days Beamers, like Burberry hats, aren't as exclusive as they used to be? Buy a new one, and there's always the fear that the bloke in the 10-year-old one will draw up alongside you at the traffic lights, then wink at you in a gesture of brotherly familiarity prior to burning you off in a cloud of blue exhaust smoke. That's not really the sort of dream the executive car driver wants to buy into. Mercedes, on the other hand, don't make cars that lend themselves to being driven flat out by boy racers, which may be why there's a huge jump in the prestige rating for our second-placed car, the Mercedes C-Class. It was rated as most prestigious by an impressive 32% of voters. In fact, in the north of England, the C-Class was top choice, proving, you might say, that where there's muck, there's Mercs. It really does seem to be a bulletproof brand, despite the fact that you're now as likely to see the name written on a van or a truck as a car, and that we buy nearly as many C-Classes as we do Audi A4s, the three-pointed star seems to carry as much prestige as ever. But it still wasn't voted the most prestigious car in our survey, because in 1st place, with a very impressive 37%, a larger share of the vote indeed than the new Labour government, was this: the Jaguar X-Type. With the exception of those northerners, it doesn't matter where you live, whether you're rich or poor, how old you are, whether you're a man or a woman, you're most likely to put the Jag in top position. It's a remarkable performance. It could be their sporting heritage, their long association with well-off Britain, or that so many of us wanted one as kids. Whatever, this brand says you've arrived. So, if you want to impress more of the people more of the time, you know which one of our 6 to choose, the Jaguar X-Type. And to make life even easier, we're giving you the chance of winning one in this week's competition. It's a splendid 2-litre V6, worth more than £20,000. Just answer this simple question. What type of animal is a Jaguar? Is it A, a cat, B, a horse, or C, a bird? Call 09015 339955 to enter, or text GEAR plus A, B or C to 81555. Lines close at midday on Monday the 23rd of May, and we'll remind you of the numbers at the end of the show. Alternatively, log on to our website, where you can also download high-quality video from the 5th Gear archive.
In the olden days, you bought a Citroën because of its characterful, individual styling. But more recently, the only incentive to buy one is because its dealers would sell you one cheap. But the new C4 VTS Coupe, you get a funky design and a dealer discount. This is the sportiest version of their Focus rival, and Citroën are making it very hard to say no. The list price is £17,295, but you can literally walk into a showroom and say, any chance of a £2,500 discount? And they'll say, yeah, all right. And that's about it. £2,500 off, just like that, thanks to a very nice offer in the month of May. Right, so let's see what it's like behind the wheel. And blimey, what a wheel. Unlike every other car on Earth, the C4 has a steering wheel with a fixed centre, so it's only the rim that rotates. It is a bit weird to start with, but you soon get used to it. It may seem like a gimmick, but it does have a purpose, always keeping the airbag in the most effective position. And the steering wheel isn't the only grooviness of the C4's kit and caboodle. Inside there are some real quality touches. The rev counter, tucked behind the steering wheel, flashes red when you hit the rev limiter. There's an air freshener that allows you to change the fragrance, and you can even plug in a DVD player or games console to watch on the centre display. Of course, being a VTS means that it should be a sporty car. I used to own a Citroën Saxo VTS, and it was one of the most fun cars I've ever driven. So for this C4 to really deserve that badge, it needs to be a very entertaining drive. Well, it's got 180 brake horsepower, which is adequate, but these days it's rather limp compared to the opposition, and it's not exactly a rocket off the line either, needing 8.3 seconds to reach 62 miles an hour. And if you want swift progress after that, you have to stir the slightly sloppy gearbox to keep the revs up. The suspension soaks up the lumps and bumps with the comfort of a large car, and in fact, that's exactly what this C4 VTS feels like, a large car. There's nothing urgent about its turning. The body rolls noticeably when you switch direction, so all in all, this car leaves you set for nothing more than a Sunday drive. But with 35 NCAP points, it is the safest sporty hatch you can buy. And there's one safety system in particular that I want to test. It's a £300 option called the Lane Departure Warning System. Drift over a white line at over 50 miles an hour without indicating, and 6 infrared sensors at the front of the car will detect it and warn you by making the corresponding side of the driver's seat vibrate. So, does it work? Well, let's scuttle over this white line. Oh, yes, it does work. And back again. Yes, it definitely works. But is it worth 300 quid? Well, no, because quite frankly, if you need to rely on a device like this to keep you alert behind the wheel, you shouldn't be driving in the first place. The truth is, Citroën's not really selling this as a hot hatch. So why they've given it their sportiest VTS badge, I'm not sure. If you prefer your drive to be quicker and sharper, and you're prepared to fork out an extra 1,500 quid, in May at least, then the Honda Civic Type R is still our favourite in this sector.
Grand Prix cars are the most technically advanced machines in motorsport. At 200 miles an hour, the downforce they create would enable them to climb the walls of a tunnel and drive upside down along the ceiling. Every season, they push the boundaries even further, which is why most young engineers would love a chance to work in Formula One. Well, back in May last year, the Renault F1 team, along with their engineering consultants Altran, provided just such an opportunity by launching their Academy Challenge, a sort of engineering idol, if you like. The prize for the person who impressed the judges the most was the Stuff of Dreams, a fully paid 6-month attachment to the Grand Prix team. The competition was open to engineering students or recent graduates, and as if the salary wasn't enough, the prize came with the use of a house and a car. To begin with a chance, the entrants had to submit a 500-word project aimed to improve the safety, reliability or performance of an F1 car. The winner will be coming here to the F1 factory at Enstone in Oxfordshire, joining one of the most advanced production lines in the world. Many of the design engineers are already working on next year's car. The factory is a sophisticated, clinical environment where the latest composite materials and complex carbon metal alloys are used. Nearly 500 people work here, creating a finished product which has taken 18 months, 50,000 wind tunnel hours, and over 3,500 parts. The winner will have a fantastic opportunity to get really close to these amazing machines, where the attention to detail is quite extraordinary. The rear suspension sits on top of the gearbox. These radiators take 4 days to fabricate and install, and they sit right alongside an 800-degree exhaust pipe. The £30,000 steering wheel is more of a command console, whilst everywhere there are intricate pieces of bodywork designed to sculpt the airflow around the car. The carbon brakes cost £1,000 a corner and last just one race, reaching temperatures of 1,200 degrees. You might recognise these brake master cylinders, but you almost need a magnifying glass to see the power steering and find the front springs, which are somewhere in there. Unsurprisingly, the chance of working on these 800 horsepower, 240 mile-an-hour machines drew hundreds of entries to the Engineering Academy Challenge. By July, the applicants had been whittled down to just 5 candidates who had to come here to the Communication Centre at Enstone to give a presentation of their projects. Not only would they have to tame their nerves for the presentation itself, they'd also have to survive a cross-examination by a panel of 3 expert judges. The first finalist was 22-year-old Matthew Jordan from Lancaster. He'd just completed a master's degree in mechanical engineering and was proposing a project that looked at different spoke designs on F1 wheels to improve brake cooling and performance.
A Formula 1 career is at the top of its profession. It's the most technically advanced form of motorsport, and that's where any engineer would like to be and work.
Next up, Akbar Abu Saman, who, after graduating in aeronautical engineering, was working part-time as a cleaner until the right motorsport job came along. He was proposing a new technology in the manufacture of F1 bodywork.
In 1999, Formula 1 came to Malaysia. I've been dreaming about working with Formula 1 team since then. Even if I don't get that at this stage, it already means a lot to me because my work, my effort, has been recognised by the Formula 1 team.
The third candidate was 24-year-old Mark Caldwell. He'd just completed a motorsport engineering diploma from Brooklands College and had entered the competition with an idea for the redesign of an F1 car's brake assembly.
I've been applying for jobs in motorsport for a year now and have been finding it extremely difficult. I've put a lot of effort into just applying for any jobs that I see on the net in any magazines. So getting a job in F1 after the hundreds of thousands, or it feels like that, of letters that I've sent out would be superb. That's my goal.
Next was Ming Thien, 17 and already a graduate from Oxford University. He's got his own designs for a new internal combustion engine, but had entered the competition with a radical project to improve the aerodynamics of an F1 car.
I think the Academy is pretty much going to be a dream job. I mean, providing, of course, that I win, which I'm not going to place a big store hope on. To get this for everybody else must have been as good, if not much better.
Finally, there was Samantha Rose, who was studying automotive engineering at Oxford Brookes University. Her idea was to adapt the cone technology used on the intake ducts of planes to improve F1 radiators.
I obviously appreciate this opportunity. It's huge. It's the kind of thing that only comes along once in a lifetime. It would mean so much to me. I can't actually put it into words how much it would mean to me. It's what I've wanted since I was so young, to be a Formula 1 designer.
It's the big day. All 5 candidates are at Renault HQ at Enstone to deliver their presentations, and all are, understandably, pretty nervous. They'll each be given 15 minutes and will then have to survive a thorough cross-examination from the 3 expert judges. There can only be one winner.
Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. Je m'appelle Samantha Rose. Je suis...
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Akbar Abu Saman.
What it aims to do is make the car go faster by putting aerodynamic surfaces where there were none before.
The amount of drag induced by the increase in mass flow rate.
The shape produced by the unsymmetric composite laminates.
And my presentation today is going to be on the design of a combined upright and brake caliper assembly.
Caused by the rotation of the wheel.
They understood the scale of what I was proposing.